Hello everybody and welcome to Project X. And today I'm just sitting here thinking about things I should have known and could have known and would have done better with if I had known getting into a car project. Let's start with number one, your goals. When you buy a project car, you've got to have a goal with it. Whether you want to flip it, whether you want to daily it, whether you want to race it, you really have to set a goal for yourself because every project is different and every project has its own budget and so forth. Yeah, so it's very important when you actually put your money down to buy a project what your goal is for it, because you can't drive a drag car, as a daily, right? Gearing is different and this and that, and certain cars you can only drive them certain places, like with maybe specialized off-road tires or stuff like that. So know what your goals are when you actually get into a project. And secondly, when you buy a car, do your research. Do your research about the car. Do your research. Get to forums. Ask questions. Have realistic expectations and so forth, right? Some things look and sound good, on YouTube, on TV, and so forth. But in reality, things are a little different. I was dealing a VR4, a 3000 GT VR4, and I thought, oh, okay, a Turbo Buick might be a good idea. But when I actually drove a Turbo Buick, or when I bought a Turbo Buick, and I started driving it and trying to drive it as a daily, the whole feel was different. The handling was different, the braking was different, and yeah, so I hadn't actually done a lot of research on the G bodies before I got into it. So, you know, you it was like an unexpected slap when I actually got this car. Yeah, so do your research, see what's going on. Number three, you have to have a budget for it. You have to have a budget, and let me tell you something from experience. Whatever you're thinking the budget is, it's probably double, right? It's probably double, and it's so easy to sink into it and sink into it real quick. So, when you're considering a project car, always think of a budget and know that the budget you're thinking about is very, very little compared to the reality of what you're going to spend on it. You buy a car, let's say you buy a car from an auction, thinking, oh, okay, it's got minor damage on, I don't know, the fender, or it needs a little body work and so forth, right? You try and fix that body work, you find that maybe the bumper is now $4,000, something you didn't realize, but you thought it was a cheap car. Headlights maybe now are like $700, you know. So that adds up real quick. And maybe the car's only worth like $3,000, but it's worth more in parts than an actual car, right? So do your research. Also, do your research because you don't know. And going back to goals and research, do your research because certain cars might not be insured. You cannot insure them. And certain cars, you cannot put them back on the road. A flood car. Well, here in Canada, a flood car, an irreparable car, all that stuff, And also, problem I've also been having, which is something for another video, is titling issues. I mean, from salvage to rebuild, can it be done? What documentation do you need? Who can do the inspection? How much is the inspection going to cost? Everything is important when you're looking for a project car and when you're going to work on a project car. And you really need to be aware of all this, right? Also, a budget, your budget, right? With the budget, how are you going to navigate? Are you financing it? Are you borrowing money from your grandma? Are you using up your savings? Is your wife gonna allow you to use money on a project car? You know, are you missing a few vacations to Bora Bora or something? See, all that you need to really think about when you're getting a project car, right? So, you gotta look into all these things, okay? And then number three, you gotta assess your skills and the resources you have for those skills, right? First of all, with the project car, you need somewhere to park it. If you're in an apartment building, will they allow you to park it? Will they allow stationary cars? Will they allow you to work on it while it's there? All these things play, right? Do you have space at home? Do you have to leave it in the driveway? And are parts valuable if you leave it in the driveway and the parts walk away or the whole project walks away? You know, that's something you have to also be looking at when you're looking at a project car, uh, right? And also assess your skills. Big mistake I made, right? Is my skills, my goals, and my skills, a little way apart, right? Am I able to paint? Am I able to do frame repair? Am I able to do rust repair? Am I able to do, because all these things pop up, right, with project cars. Am I able to do electrical? You know, all these things pop up at such a skill level. And with that skill, because whatever you do, you're saving money from the next guy, paying the next guy to do it for you. So you always have to assess your skill level and the resources you have available, right? So that's very important. And then, right, okay, I did mention space, but I'm stressing the importance of space to work on. Space. Where are you gonna store it? Right? Where are you gonna store it? Uh, does it move under its own power? Right? All these are very important when buying a project car. Does a car move? Can it be stored? Can it be moved at any time? How accessible is it? Does it move out under its own power? All that is very important when venturing into a new project, right? And then six, build in stages, right? When you're having a build, going back to the goals, what is your goal? If you know your goal, then you can build in stages. I'm gonna put an air filter in it while I drive it daily, going back to the building in stages. I've made the mistake so many times of getting cars that, first of all, I got clouded with my judgment because of my goal. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. Bye.